Alright guys, welcome to Bioshock. As you can see in the top left, I got the platinum for it. If you don't know how these videos work, basically I go over the platinum a little bit, as well as give a general review on the game. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. Start with the platinum section. So, for the platinum, it took me approximately 18-ish hours. I don't know for sure, but it was somewhat around there. Because I have time in Bioshock 2, and they're bundled together on the PS4, on the digital version. So I don't know, I think it was about 6 hours I had in Bioshock 2, so it was 18 total for Bioshock 1. In terms of, like, actual trophies and stuff, there's not really any hard ones. It's just kind of stuff you got to pay attention to. There's some missable audio diaries. But what I recommend, because you have to do 2 playthroughs from what I know anyway. You might be able to do it in 1 playthrough, I don't know. But, so from what I know it's 2 playthroughs. I did 2 playthroughs, that's why it was 18 hours. But, so my first playthrough, I just played through the game normally. Did whatever I wanted to, whatever. Second playthrough on New Game Plus. I got all the rest of my weapon upgrades, got all the tonics, all the audio diaries, all the big daddies. So I just kind of did like a completion run on my New Game Plus, and I found that to be a better way to go. Also, for the difficulty trophies, they are glitched. So the game will randomly drop you to medium difficulty. If you're even on, like, if you're on survival or something, it'll drop you all the way down. So I played through the first like 2 or 3 levels on survival, and then I stopped playing for the night, and I came back on the next day. And I went through like 2 levels, and I checked my difficulty because I was like, this is kind of easy, and it got reverted to medium. So I ended up doing the difficulty glitch on the final boss, where you just pause the game and switch the difficulty setting. So I ended up doing that. I didn't want to do that. I did play through the whole game without the vital chambers though, so I still somewhat did it. I just didn't do the hardest difficulty, sadly. So also real quick. This gameplay is all from the first 20 minutes. I didn't want to spoil too much of the game because it's a game that, like, there's some great moments, you know, and you should experience them yourself. But let's get into the, like, actual review now. So we'll start with weapons because it's the easiest to talk about. So you have a multitude of weapons. I'll talk about all of them individually, as well as upgrades, which are all just damage and fire rate stuff. So, but let's get into weapons. As you can see here, we start with the wrench. This is just your standard melee weapon. You're going to use it to open vents, and you can kind of tie it with your plasmids pretty well. See, so all this gameplay is in survival, by the way. But so you can kind of use plasmids pretty well to combo with your melee, and if you use tonics, you can make you could make the wrench pretty strong using your physical and combat tonics, as well as your plasmids to freeze them or electrify them to stun them, you know. So you can do stuff like that with the wrench. So it's a viable weapon through a good chunk of the game if you wanted to. Then there's the pistol, which has normal bullets, armor-piercing bullets, and then anti-personnel bullets. So it's usable through the whole game as well. For probably the first 7 levels or so, I was one-shotting enemies in the head with it. To be fair, fully upgraded because it was New Game Plus, but still pretty good. And then you have the machine gun, which is the Tommy gun. Same thing. It's normal rounds, anti-personnel, and armor-piercing. So, and it's kind of the same. No, those are only 2 of the same ammo types, actually. But the Tommy gun's good the whole game. High fire rate, good damage, 50 round magazine. I don't remember if it was like that before it was upgraded, but 50 round magazine, good fire rate, all that. You got the shotgun, which has normal rounds, electric rounds, and explosive rounds. Electric rounds are phenomenal on turrets and robots and stuff like that, obviously. And the shotgun overall, once it's fully upgraded, easily one of the best guns in the game. Easily. I used the shotgun for the last like 3 levels. Just only the shotgun almost. Works really well. Then you have the grenade launcher, which shoots grenades, proximity mines, and then heat-seeking missiles. So, pretty cool. Chemical thrower is napalm. Fuck.
Look, Mr. Bubbles.
Napalm, electrical gel, and then I think the other one was ice. I don't remember the name of it though. Then you have the crossbow, also very OP. Used it for a good section of the game as well. Incendiary bolts it has, normal bolts, and trap bolts, which kind of work like proximity mines, sort of. So all really good. You have your research camera, so you can do your research pictures. And that's it. So it has a good chunk of guns. And the guns all feel very good in this game. They feel very impactful. Do good damage. The upgrades feel rewarding. And kind of combining tonics and stuff like that is also really cool. So real quick, we'll talk about plasmids and tonics. So you have plasmids, which are, as you can see on the screen there, the left-hand ability. So you got electric, fire, hacking, hypnotizing, enraging, sending bees, ice, sonic boom, telekinesis. So there's a lot of different plasmids. I think there's more than that. Those are just the ones I used. So you got your plasmids, which it's kind of like spells basically, you know. And that's kind of what the whole game revolves around, is the plasmids and the tonics and Atom. And as you can see, we're in Rapture, which was made by Andrew Ryan for the people, away from the government's eye, you know, things like that. Discovered Atom. Atom gave people these abilities, which are the plasmids and tonics. Yeah, that's kind of like the... I mean, there's a lot of lore in this game, a shit ton of lore, but that's kind of the gist of Rapture and Atoms and stuff like that. And that Rapture went through the Civil War with all these companies, and people turned into splicers, which is the enemy, which we'll talk about enemies in a second. But yeah. So and then tonics, real quick. Those are kind of like passive boost buffs. So you have some that will like, so you have 3 different categories: combat, physical, and engineering. Actually, there's like 6. There's like 6 of them. I don't remember all of them. I should have looked it up, or at least looked at it before I started making the video. I didn't write a script. I just didn't have time to write a script, and I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. But so the gist of tonics though is that they you can increase your wrench damage, you can increase hacking speeds, you can increase safe cracking speeds, you can slow down the hacking mini game so it's faster. You can buff your overall damage, buff your overall damage resistance, you know, things like that. Be stronger against fire, you know, things like that. So it's just passive boost where you could really build your character in a certain way, which is really nice. But yeah, so that's kind of the gist of guns and plasmids and tonics and stuff like that. And then let's get into enemies real quick. So you have splicers, which are your humanoid enemies. Technically, they're all humanoids. It's really just splicers and big daddies. But you have thug splicers, which just walk up to you with like a bat or a wrench, stuff like that. You have the spider splicers, which climb on the roofs and walls and have hooks on their hands. They throw the hooks and shit. You have Houdini splicers, which can they use their plasmids a lot, so they can kind of teleport, throw fireballs at you, throw ice at you, which I didn't even see those guys until the last 2 levels. But because that's when the last 2 levels was the only time I saw the Houdini splicers that could throw ice. Well, and I guess when you're doing Cohen's mission, because I guess that guy does technically do that. But yeah, and then you have your big daddies, which you have the Rosie and the Bouncer. Bouncers are the ones that hit you, like they're all melee, I'm pretty sure, and then the Rosies are the shooter ones. The Rosies shoot proximity mines and stuff like that. I might have those flipped, but you know which one they are. And then there's lead splicers, which use pistols and machine guns. And then you have your turrets, which there's RPG, flamethrower, all those. You have your cameras you gotta watch out for, because they'll call in the security bots, and the security bots fly around and attack you for a certain amount of time until that timer goes down. So, yeah, I think that's it for enemies, though. There's not too many. Now let's talk about the very obvious thing, is atmosphere. As you can see, there's the revolver. But as you can see during this gameplay, just look at the atmosphere. Look at the lighting, look at the way the world kind of tells a story in each room you enter, you know? Got all these props that are put there deliberately, you know what I mean? They're put there to tell you a story. And then the audio files also, it's not mandatory to get all of them, obviously, but I still highly recommend getting most of them, because the audio files either tell you something that happened in that room, or they give you some more backstory into the Civil War in Rapture. And yeah, the game oozes lore. The atmosphere's phenomenal everywhere you go. It just works. Nothing is upgraded here, by the way. You don't get your upgrade until you get to Arcadia, I believe it was. So, but yeah, the atmosphere in the game is just phenomenal. I think the reason it's so good is it's that whole underwater city aspect. It makes it feel unique. You know, it makes it feel special, creepy, but also beautiful. It's just a good location. But yeah, in terms of world building, they got lore down everywhere. You could see lore, you could read lore, you could hear lore. There's just so many stories to tell inside of Rapture. And I do wish that they... I get that Infinite had to be a thing, and I like Infinite. I haven't beaten all of it before, but I like Infinite. But I wish they told more stories in Rapture, because there could have been stories from before Rapture. Because you got to think, when Rapture, before the Civil War in Rapture, it was kind of like a, I guess like a no man's land. You know, there was no government, there was no laws. I mean, there were laws, they were still pretty civilized, but you could be like Fontaine. You could be a smuggler, you know, they could tell a story about some gangsters smuggling goods in and out of Rapture. That'd be a cool story, you know. I get why they didn't do it, but it would be cool. But as you can see, just the way the lighting and the fog and the way the props are set, it gives you this sense of feeling, this sense of, I don't know, just story. And it works really well. And this game is easily one of my favorite games in terms of just overall aesthetic and environments. So as you can see here, this is kind of your just standard, like, it's like a bar area, you know. But you also have like like an inside greenhouse kind of area, like a garden area type of thing. You have apartment buildings, you have shopping malls, you have theaters. There's so many different environments, and they all vary drastically in terms of look for the most part. They're not all just the same color hallway, and you know, they all have unique looks to them. And overall, game it works really good. Story-wise, again, don't do spoilers all too much, so just gonna do like a little rough thing around it. But story-wise, the story was pretty good. It's not the best thing about the game. The best thing about the game is definitely the combat and overall world. But the story isn't bad. I did like the twist towards the end, you know. Yeah, I know it shocked a lot of people when it first came out. And that's one thing I will say too. Playing this game for the first time, you're just like, wow. Because there's so much mystery behind it. Playing through it again, it's not as special. It's still fun. It's just not as special. But yeah, so the story is pretty good. It's just not the strongest aspect of the game, obviously. It's not for that. The game it's definitely more of like a art piece, you know. You're supposed to look at it and love the world and things like that. Now let's talk a little bit about kind of what you do in the world. So, the bulk of the story quest, which there are no side quests technically, but the bulk of the story quests are go here get this or go here and kill someone. So for objectives, it's nothing special, but everything you're doing along the way is special, so it makes them feel alright. And then you have the Big Daddies also. There's a few on each map. The Big Daddies protect the little sisters here, as you can see her right there. The little sisters' jobs are to obtain Atom from bodies, and that's kind of their whole existence, is getting Atom. And all the splicers want them because they have the Atom. And then as you can see here, this is a Big Daddy. The Big Daddies protect the little sisters and kill everyone who gets in their way. Your goal is to kill the Big Daddies and rescue the little sisters and purify them, essentially, so that they're free again, because they're technically being mind controlled in a way, and the Big Daddy and the little sister are telepathically connected at all times. So also fucked up thing, fucked up thing, by the way. This is some lore from Bioshock Infinite, but it has a DLC that takes place in Rapture. The Big Daddies and the little sisters, probably a good chunk out of the time, are father and daughter. So it's very depressing when you kill a Big Daddy and you know that fact. There was at least one case where, I think it was Bioshock Infinite, it might have been Bioshock 2, but either way, I think it was Bioshock 2. But Big Daddies, sometimes, maybe most of the times, are the father of the little sister, which makes it a little sad, a little worse, you know, but yeah. And then also, one more thing before I end the video, is the environmental stuff. So there's puddles here, as you can see. You can electrify those puddles, and it deals massive amounts of damage to people. There's other little stuff like that, like, fuck, I can't think of something off the top of my head. There was something I did, though. I don't remember exactly what. I did something, and I was like, that's cool. I killed someone with an environment piece. But, yeah, I should have wrote a script for this, to be honest, but I also didn't know what to write. It took me too long to platinum this 9-hour-long fucking play. It just took me too long. I was so busy. But, yeah, I wanted to at least make a video, show it off a little bit, talk about it. But it is a good game. It's one of my favorite games, probably. I highly recommend giving it a go. At least one playthrough, you know. You don't have to platinum it. I get not wanting to platinum it. I was stressed out starting the platinum, but it's really not that bad. But, yeah, it's a good game overall. Super fun combat, super unique world premise. It all works really well. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. The final review on the game is 9 out of 10. I have to. It's a really good game. It deserves that 9 out of 10 rating. And I'll probably play it again soon, to be honest. It was so fun. It was just so fun. I don't know, I feel like it's a game you could replay consistently. There's just something about the environments, the way the world looks and feels. It's just phenomenal. But, yeah, that's going to do it for this Road to Platinum video. I know it was kind of all over the place, and I know I should have wrote a script, but that's my bad. Anyway, so next Platinum is going to be Assassin's Creed Shadows. I didn't spin the wheel. I just want to have Shadows I want to have Shadows platinumed before the first DLC comes out. So as soon as we're done with the Shadows main story on the channel, I'm gonna start doing the platinum for it. So look out for that. I don't know. I don't know, dude. I'm so slow at doing these platinums. Sometimes it's crazy. But yeah, so look out for that on the horizon at some point. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys want to see on the channel in the future. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Stay safe out there, and peace out, guys.